And this is the countdown, ladies and gentlemen. You can see we're counting down to Whirlwind, one of the largest maps, of course, in competitive StarCraft 2 at the moment, and we are into the game, spawning to the bottom right-hand location as the orange Terran player, the highest ranked Grandmaster UK player on the ladder at the moment. Can he impress today and get himself a slot in the challenge? We'll find out. His name is Simba. He will be facing off against the red Protoss in the top right-hand corner, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of an unknown quantity here, but this is what these tournaments are all about. Having these unknown quality players show us what they're capable of. Can he pull off something noteworthy? It is CuX.
And what's a better way to start off this WCS EU Challenger Division qualifier than with some good old Terran versus Protoss Whirlwind. Quite a large map. This is going to be hopefully more on the macro side of things to kick things off, as it is such a big map.
Yes, for sure.
Wouldn't be expecting anything terribly crazy here, Jorosar.
No, definitely not. Very fast expands, quite common on Whirlwind, simply because there's a lot of scouting to do unless you get very lucky with your first scout, which there's a chance that CuX might do that because a lot of players tend to scout actually clockwise on this map, I've noticed from watching a lot of games, and it looks like he might be going to scout Simba first. Let's see if either player opts to go for an expand. Of course, in a best of X series games, you see sometimes on Whirlwind people staying on one base and all sorts of crazy stuff because they're anticipating really heavy macro play, but this isn't a sort of best of 7, best of 9 situation here, and I wouldn't necessarily expect that from either of our players. Indeed, the command center already on the ground for Simba.
Yes, and you know, as you mentioned that scouting pattern, CuX going for very interesting, going straight cross spawns, and this is very interesting with him opening up with the double gas, of course. A lot of players do like to open up with this, even if they're playing defensively, just so they can have either a fast sentry or robotics facility in case of anything like fast Widowmine play. But I'm really curious about going straight for the cross. Maybe he really wants to find him quickly. He will be scouting Simba next, but those two barracks are coming up. As you said, he has chosen to go for the command center first build. Very economic play here. We're going to have to see if CuX is going to do anything really aggressive to punish this. He will be able to find him in time before he places down an expansion, but he is starting to bank up a little bit of money, so we'll have to see once the Cybernetics core finishes where he wants to invest that.
Yep, it's all going to be the next couple of seconds, which will determine what CuX does. He has seen the command center, basically saw it about to finish, so he knows the timing of that now as well. Second barracks about to complete. And this is where he needs to make his decisions back at home. It looks like the Nexus is going to go down anyway, so not too much out of the ordinary just now from our Protoss player. He's only got 2 workers in each gas at the moment, so not the most heavy tech commitment you see. It allows him to get that Nexus down just the slightest bit sooner. And I think both players at this point seem to be content to go into a slightly longer macro game.
Yeah, definitely. CuX, though, he is moving a probe down to get a pretty fast forward pylon on the right side of the map. This is going to let him spot drops. It might barely miss the right side edge, but it should be able to spot anything going along the right side, so it doesn't necessarily have to be for a proxy. He's still got the probe over there, so he may have some other intentions. He hasn't placed a tech building down yet, and he does have enough resources to do so. We'll have to see with that pylon completing, but otherwise it is good for spotting drops.
Oh! But and the Stalker just missed the SCB, Nathanius. He could have stopped and picked off that SCB before even getting in to deny Simba even vision of the expansion there, but actually just walking straight past him.
Yeah, really, really good denial there. Or at least a good getting by the Stalker, being able to get in and scout. And he sees the 2 gateways going down. He doesn't see any tech buildings. And, well, we do have that Stargate being placed at that forward pylon. So this looks like it's going to be very aggressive 2-base play coming out of CuX, because I mean, with those warp gates, he's going to be able to get a couple more units, but the Stargate isn't going to be able to do too much for the mid-late game. He wants to try to do a little bit of early damage and possibly catch Simba off guard. He only has a handful of Marines at his main base, and Oracle can beat 5 Marines straight up in a fight, so we'll have to see if this is going to do any significant damage. The Stalker is up front. SCV manages to slip by a second time and get home unscathed.
Very nice, that SCV performing Houdini-level tricks there to somehow get back into base at 16 hit points. The Oracle production has now started as well. for our Protoss players, so let's see how much damage CuX can get done here. In the meantime, back in the main base of Simba, Stim has now started. He's going to be getting down his factory soon, wants to get up to the medevac tech by the time Stim gets out so that he can heal up those damaged units, but will his economy still be there by that time? CuX now moving out with his first Oracle.
Yeah, and all of the supply depot placement on the top side of the main base for Simba. He should be able to spot this. The Marines do see it. Oracle is heading in towards that main base, but he's going to immediately get to work on these Marines. A little bit of indecisiveness about which Marines he wants to target down, but he will be able to kill off all of them. Possibly kill an SB before leaving, but that Oracle looks like he will be able to take it down. It's quite a significant investment to lose this early on, but CuX is already making that transition into the robotics facility. It's going to complete in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, that's not really the kind of damage that CuX really wanted to do. Yes, he got a lot of Marines. He actually got 6 in total, I believe, but only a single worker, and the Oracle has died, and the elements of surprise from that proxy Oracle play, which I think is so useful, has now disappeared as well. So let's see if he continues to use that Stargate later on into the game, or if he's going to transition into something else. Right now, it looks like he's just going straight for the robotics bay.
Yeah, and this is a pretty smart decision. His Oracle, yeah, as you stated, didn't really do the damage he wanted it to. He killed off a couple of Marines, but that's not really the biggest threat. And we're actually going to see him get a third Nexus here relatively quickly for a Protoss versus Terran. Oftentimes, once the drop progression starts for the Terran, it's all about denying that third base, keeping the Protoss locked in, using the drops to abuse them. On this map, Whirlwind, there's so much space to bring those medevacs with that speed boost around and cause lots of damage. And I feel like with the Oracle not doing that much damage, he's delayed his Colossi enough that he wants to try to take this third Nexus as a way to catch up very quickly, possibly using another Oracle that he has in production to keep Simba in his base long enough to buy himself that time to get those Colossi out.
Yeah, that's a really great point, actually, Nathanius. The Oracle didn't do the damage he wanted it to do, so his best option right now is to try and keep his opponent in his base so that he has the time to get up that Nexus. I really like that. He's got a second Oracle now, and let's see if Simba here decides to turn around with part of his army to deal with this. There is a missile turret, though, in the main base, and I suspect that's not going to be necessary. A single Marine being stinned, but the Oracle already moving away, and now this is a position that CuX is going to find very difficult.
Yeah, so much bio moving up here, Jarsar. This is a lot. If he walks up that ramp, eat the force fields, he could take a lot of damage there. I don't think it's necessary. He should try to check that third, but he is going to dive in. The first Colossus is out. Photon overcharge activated. There are so many Marines here, though, splitting up. He will have to pick up, but the big thing here, Simba does not yet know about this third base. If CuX gets that unscouted and can hold off this aggression, he's going to be in such a good spot, but the probes are being transferred over. Jorsar, he knows.
Oh, that was the biggest giveaway. I don't know why the probes chose that moment to transfer over, and if Simba didn't know before, he sure as heck knows now. Number of workers killed 11, so quite a lot of them going down in just that brief moment there. A little bit of a slip up from CuX. And we'll see how he can come back into this. He's trying really hard. The Colossus actually doing a decent amount of damage here, but great splitting of the bio army allows the left-hand side there to get a lot of damage done. And now Simba may want to consider just moving left towards the third base. Alternatively, oh no, the Colossus goes down as well. He may just head into the natural, Nathanius, and just go for the killing move.
Yeah, he took out all those force fields earlier. He's going to get all of the Stalkers and the Mothership Core. The Photon Overcharge is adding in its DPS, but it is not enough to kill this off. And there's the GG from CuX. Simba going to take game number 1 in this best of 3 to kick off this Challenger League qualifier.